Alpha here back with another video. And today we're going to be teaching you how to do two very basic shadows within Affinity Photo, Photoshop, Photopea, whatever program you use. I'm going to use Affinity Photo because I don't have Photoshop. So first let me go ahead and get my drawing tablet. If you guys want to get it, link in the description, but you can of course not do this with a drawing tablet. So I'm just gonna go File, Place, and let me just go ahead and place a render. So we have this render that I made in Blender for this tutorial. So it's not that advanced of a render. So we're just gonna go ahead, scale the render down. I'm gonna be teaching you two types of shadows. First, we have a very basic one that pretty much anything you can do. We have a one that's more advanced. So let's just go ahead and search up street so we can blend it in the background. Okay, this street looks pretty good. It's taken on a phone, okay. Let's just go ahead and scale it. We need to get the street. Oh, my school starts in a few minutes. Okay. So just place your shadow right here. And when you see your shadow, next we're gonna first is a very basic shadow. So what you want to do, just make a new layer. Just make a new layer. Make sure it's above the this layer, so it kind of looks realistic. Now what you're gonna do, go to brushes. I'm gonna use you can use any brush. I would recommend the 32, but I'm using a drawing tablet, so it doesn't, pressure sensitive. No. I'm using a drawing tablet, so it doesn't really matter. So what you wanna do, just draw on the legs. I usually do both of these shadows within my renders, but yeah, then draw on the ground. It looks kind of bad right now. But then what you want to do right after you draw these shadows, drag it up and go to turn on Gaussian blur. If you don't know where Gaussian blur in Photoshop, go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian blur, and click it. I'm just gonna use the effects panel and turn up the Gaussian blur just a slight bit, so it's kind of like that. Next, what I'll do, I usually just turn down the opacity. Now, it looks bad right now, but what we can do, you can use the mesh warping tool. I think the mesh warp tool, you click Control T, then you right click, and now what you want to do, just expand the shadow till it's outwards like that. And yeah, this is a pretty basic shadow and not really that advanced of a shadow. It's just really simple, clean, and you can do a lot of stuff with it. That is one of the shadows that we're going to be doing. You know, it kind of looks like that. Now I might be going, okay, that doesn't look terrible, but there's a much easier and better way to do this. So what you want to do, click on the layer, hit Control J. It should make a duplicate layer. Next, hit Control T on Photoshop, and I'm just going to, there's a tool here in Affinity, or then you're gonna select the perspective tool and just bring it to the ground. Oh, that's the mesh warp tool. Perspective tool. We're gonna go ahead, select the perspective tool, and just move the render on the ground like that, kinda. And it's not night, so I'm not gonna apply that big of a shadow. Next, move the shadow so it goes behind the leg. And then right after this, just move the render right below this layer or inside of it, that's fine, Affinity. Okay. Okay, there you go. Now when you have this, make a new layer, drag the layer in here, and just draw on it. Just draw on the layer. Now what you want to do, turn down the layer. Now turn down the layer opacity. Now that's pretty basic of a shadow, but before you leave the video, go to here, lighting. This is actually a really useful feature so you can see where the light is coming from. So it doesn't really matter, but it makes it look a little bit better because you can tell. So the sun looks like from it's coming right up here, so let's put a light right there. It doesn't make that big of a difference, but it just makes it go that extra mile. Now, if you want to go here, go to here, colors, and curves. Oh, sorry, you go to adjustment, curves, and what you want to do with this curves layer, you want to make it really black. That would make it like that, so we want to do just, I'm gonna make the shadow a little bit lighter on the top because light is coming from there. There we go. And yeah, that's a pretty basic shadows. You could of course make it the other way, but without these shadows, look how unrealistic it is. Okay, does that look realistic to you? If I said, wow, look at this realisticness, does this make it look, am I saying, that just looks like you used a brush there. Exactly what I did, but I think I'm missing a spot right here. Yeah, I'm missing a spot right here. Yeah, there you go, that looks a little bit better. And then also let's move it behind that layer. That doesn't look that realistic. Now look what happens when we apply this shadow. Looks realistic, kind of. And next, I would adjust some of the lighting. Literally, look at the ground. Look at it. Okay, don't ask what that. Why is there white there? What? Yeah, but look at the ground. Look, it looks like I'm literally stepping over the ground, pointing at you. Next, you would apply some shadows. Maybe, okay, let's go ahead, make a new layer, slap it in here, make a quick shadow. I'm not gonna spend that much time on it. Usually I would spend a lot. We got a shadow layer. Go here, apply a Gaussian blur, turn up the Gaussian blur. Go ahead here, turn down the opacity by a ton. Next, make a mask on this layer, and there we go. Next, make a new layer in here. Switch the color to white, and then with the color white, just draw in areas that the light is coming from. So we have down here, here, and then turn down the opacity, turn on Gaussian blur, turn up the Gaussian blur, turn down the opacity. And then for the final step, turn on lighting. Go here. Oh, sorry. Or in a much simpler step, if you want to do that whole process, go to filter, lighting, scale it up, and you have pre-made highlights. See, pretty cool, pretty epic, I know. And you have pre-made highlights already. You have like shadows and highlights kind of. Then you could always turn it like this. That makes it look a little bit more realistic. Then we slap on our shadows and highlights, and it's starting to look realistic. Maybe major highlight up here. Let's turn up a Gaussian blur on the background so it looks like it was with a DSLR. We can't apply too much of a blur, not like that much, but maybe like less. Yeah, that looks pretty realistic. So this is the focal point of the entire thing, and yeah, that's pretty much how you make realistic shadows. If you want to see how I made the thumbnail of this video, keep watching, but this is gonna be the end. If you want to keep watching, watch. Don't want to watch, bye. But if you want to see, at 15 likes, I'll make a tutorial about how to make basic thumbnails. And maybe, very basic renders guide, but I think this video is gonna do pretty good. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and see you guys later. Bye.